Today on the podcast, we are talking about MrBeast Burger, specifically why it's a problem that MrBeast Burger is closing. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, over the weekend, MrBeast had some controversial tweets, and I got tweets to show you. So I'm going to pull them up here, and we'll read them directly, and then we're going to react to the tweets, and we're going to go into a series of commentary about MrBeast Burger, ghost kitchens, and kind of a lot of things that have been going on over the last few years, and why this is actually a monumental announcement MrBeast has made. So I will right now bring in the tweets that are in question. The first tweet, and the way Twitter is laid out now, I just saw this random tweet come up in my feed, and I didn't really understand the context, so I had to go back a little bit. So somebody, B-Man at Story Avira Time, said, "Is MrBeast Burger done? The I opened a restaurant that pays you to eat at it video was deleted in late May, and the MrBeast Burger account hasn't tweeted for a while. I haven't tried to order it for a while, but it went really quiet after Feastables." And that was an interesting tweet, but MrBeast's response, Jimmy's response to that, was even more interesting. "Yeah, the problem with Beast Burger is I can't guarantee the quality of the order. When working with other restaurants, it's impossible to control it, sadly. And to be honest, I just enjoy Feastables 100 times more. Making snacks is awesome and something I'm way more passionate about." But the conversation did continue. And MrBeast actually came right out and said, "I started MrBeast Burger to help restaurants make more money during the pandemic, and it worked. But sadly, when working with 2,000 restaurants I don't own, it's impossible to guarantee the order quality. I'm moving on from MrBeast Burger so I can focus on Feastables and making snacks." It's the next tweet, which I'm going to actually circle back to in just a second, that is a little bit more telling, but he basically just announced there he's walking away from MrBeast Burger. Now that to me is interesting because I had a lot to say in 2020 when he launched MrBeast Burger. I thought it was actually a pretty cool thing. Now let's talk about what exactly it is and kind of what the problem is with the concept of MrBeast Burger and all of the others. So what is MrBeast Burger? MrBeast Burger was a ghost kitchen concept that focused around the MrBeast brand. It is a way of using delivery apps like DoorDash, Grubhub, and I'm sure others, to work inside of a working kitchen and sell different menus of stuff. There was one company that kind of emerged around the 2020 time period. It was a period where we were all in our house, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit in depth too, a little bit of the psychological, what was going on with us as a society at that time that kind of, we were all dealing with. Not that we need a reminder, but it's important in the context of this here. It's a company called Virtual Dining Concepts. So if you go to their website, and I want to pull that on the screen for those of you watching, Virtual Dining Concepts looks like a pretty cool company. It says moments beyond food delivered, and it says add virtual restaurant to your kitchen today. Scrolling on the screen right now, there's a ticker with a whole bunch of different restaurants. There's Robert Irvine's American Heroes, Maria's Tortas Lopez, I don't know what that is, Lanky Box Kitchen, I'm sure that's another influencer brand, Guy Fieri's Flavortown Kitchen, that's something you must know, Real House Bowls, which is obviously a Bravo restaurant, and Creator's Kitchen. It's actually really interesting. And somewhere on this website, I found all the brands. You can see there's MrBeast. Yeah, if you click through the brands, what I did earlier was I tried to click into a couple of these, and they actually are no longer operating. And I think that's kind of a sign of the times here as far as what's going on. Specific to MrBeast Burger, what they basically did was they made a handful of burger offerings that were based around the MrBeast brand. So MrBeast has his characters of friends. He has Carl, he has Chris, Chandler. So each of them got a burger, and then there was a Beast style burger, which is essentially your animal style, kind of Shake Shack, type burger. And it was kind of interesting in 2020 to have this concept, come out. We got it in the area, and I have notes that are supposed to keep me kind of on topic, and right now everything's bouncing around in my head. So the MrBeast burger concept is one of these virtual dining concept brands. And actually, a little Easter egg, if you follow the lore of MrBeast, there's videos of like an actual physical MrBeast burger opening. The chef who designed the MrBeast burger menu is actually somebody who prominently appeared on Food Network contest shows in the 2010s to now. His name is Eric Greenspan. So he's kind of a heavier set individual, and you'll see him in some of the videos kind of talking with MrBeast, making burgers. They've done some behind the scenes stuff where he's in it, which is really interesting. The first time I tried MrBeast burger was in late 2020. We had done an order through the MrBeast burger website and just gotten delivery to the house. It was one of those things. At the time, very few restaurants were actually delivering. In this area here, it took a long while for a lot of local restaurants to kind of jump onto the takeout type thing. A lot of restaurants resisted, and a lot of restaurants kind of suffered for it. So it allowed these kind of ghost kitchens to swoop in and start getting this type of business. And with this virtual dining concepts brands, there's Mariah Carey cookies. There was a Pauly D's Italian sub thing. And it was kind of a heyday for ghost kitchens. So the first time I tried it, we ordered the entire menu. We spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $75 after tip and delivery fees, which was a lot for what it was. It was basically 3 burgers, 3 things of fries, and a couple of cookies. It came with a free cup. I think we have the Chris cup, which I'm sure is going to have some value at some point. So the second time I got MrBeast burger, I was attending an event at the Desmond on Wolf Road, which is a lot closer to the location where MrBeast burger was delivering from. And I had just ordered a chicken sandwich for the Chicken Sandwich Wars series. In the show notes below, I have links to both videos if you're interested in checking those out after this podcast. But I thought it was an interesting experience. I thought that the food was definitely not worth the price. But I think it was cool that at scale, over 2,000 restaurants, according to MrBeast's tweet, he was able to install this menu. I mean, they were operating out of Buco di Beppo in my area. That to me is pretty astonishing, especially at a time where Buco di Beppo, which is a family-style Italian restaurant, probably wasn't getting a whole lot of families sitting down eating in that restaurant. So to be able to adapt and to offer these menus, I think it did a lot of good. We're going to get to the local reaction because I have something funny that kind of happened with one of our local food critics in response to MrBeast burger opening that I think you guys are going to enjoy. But it was the third tweet that MrBeast posted this weekend that really is, I think, more telling of the situation. And I'm going to bring that up right now just so that we can see that. So what he says here is, and Mr. Old Man here needs to pull up the bigger window because my eyes aren't working so well. So the guy responded to him, "This means during the upcoming days, you will retire MrBeast burger places via delivery or whatnot. Since I wanted to try MrBeast burger since it has been in London for a while." And MrBeast's response, "I would if I could, but the company I partnered with won't let me stop, even though it's terrible for my brand. Young Beast signed a bad deal." I want you to remember the term there, Young Beast signed a bad deal, because I think that's a very important thing. With a lot of the influencer marketing that we're seeing right now, even with what I'm doing here, there's a link in the show notes where you could actually buy a t-shirt or a hat, or all different things. But when you're at scale, over 2,000 restaurants, and you're delivering food to people, there's a certain expectation of quality, right? And I saw a lot of the backlash on Twitter the day after MrBeast Burger launched, people reaching out directly to MrBeast saying, your food sucks. We got a bad deal, this, that. People post pictures, and you could see the variety of quality across the entire thing. There's no incentive for these ghost kitchens, you know, who are supposed to be making big ziti and chicken parmesan, to have quality control. And just like Gene Garcia in the chat says, there's no quality control. That, I think that's part of the reason why MrBeast just said, you know, I have a little bit more control over my brand, what's going on with Feastables, and I'm going to walk away from Beast Burger. But the tweet, he clearly can't do that. So what I think is going to happen is MrBeast Burger is going to live on, but MrBeast himself is not going to be attached, or, you know, he's lending his branding to that dining concept. But now, because of the bad deal that MrBeast signed, he can't get out of it, which that's significant, because now his brand is going to be attached to this burger company, and who knows what's going to happen to the quality now. Now that these places have no incentive to be making it good. So what does it mean that MrBeast got a bad deal? And I think that that's my point, is that with all these restaurants that are offering, you know, all these things, imagine a Buca di Beppo kitchen that's stocking everything to make Mariah Carey cookies, Guy Fieri Flavor Town, you know, whatever else, Robert Irvine thing, the Real Housewives bowls, MrBeast Burger, and it's not in their wheelhouse for what they're making, you know, but at the end of the day, they get to slap on a MrBeast Burger sticker and send it out the door. That is it's kind of harsh. You know, you signed this deal 3-4 years ago, and now you have no control over it, and no control, and no way to actually do anything about it. And somebody in the chat, Gene, the same Gene who just commented, he can get sued for bad mouthing MrBeast Burger, which puts the business in a worse position. Absolutely. You know, so this is a pretty precarious position he's in. I think the idea was a good idea. I think because it's MrBeast, it just gets to that scale where it's just uncontrollable. And now he wants to move on, and he can't. So we talked about what it means for him. We talked about what ghost kitchens are. We talked about why the ghost kitchens became popular. And I wanted to talk about, I was reading an article about this collective trauma repression theory that we have when a society experiences something like a pandemic, or even worse. A lot of times we forget about the specifics of what was going on at the time. When MrBeast Burger came out in 2020, it was a pretty dry, you know, it was hard to get groceries. So even a lot of the cooking that we could do at home, you really have to plan ahead, you know, because you got to think back to that time, just in the mindset of, you know, okay, we can't go out, we have to wipe down our groceries and all those things that were going on. But if we think back, we forget all that was happening. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I did a poll, which I'll bring up in the chat here as well. I did a poll on the YouTube channel today, where I asked, have you recently in 2023 ordered food from a ghost kitchen? And the resounding answer on that is no. 83% of 59 votes said that they have not ordered from ghost kitchens in 2023, which I think is absolutely insane, considering how quickly ghost kitchens grew to favor in 2020 and 2021, and how many colleges there are, and all these other things that, you know, people are still using DoorDash and Grubhub and all these other things. It's a very little benefit to the actual restaurants, because there's fees, and I mean, personally, I can't justify. First of all, I don't like ordering from places that are too far away, because then the quality of the food kind of suffers because you're getting takeout. So I'd rather just go out and get that food. But it's interesting to me that people are ordering less from ghost kitchens now than they were. And that, I think, is more of the rise of the local restaurant doing takeout, and just people just getting out in the world a little bit more, which again is a sign of the times. It's very good. You know, we're obviously not out of We're not out of the health situation 100% yet, but obviously things are a lot better, at least than they were 3 years ago, which I think is a great thing. MrBeast Burger in the local area really got totally hazed by the local food critic, and I want to read to you from his article. Steve Barnes from the Times Union, who is a contact of mine. I've talked to Steve in the past. He's actually helped me a lot over the years in terms of promoting things, and I don't have anything bad to say about Steve here. This is more to point out the humor in what he was saying, and it's just very funny. Jimmy Donaldson, a YouTuber who used elaborate stunts and financial giveaways to build 50 million subscribers for his MrBeast channel, last month simultaneously launched 300 locations of a new restaurant called MrBeast Burger that operates out of an existing restaurant kitchen. Most appear to be based in locations of chains of Buca di Beppo, Bettuccini's, Bravo Italian Kitchen. His backer is a venture company called Virtual Dining Concepts, which has more than a dozen such ghost kitchen and counting, including Mariah Carey Cookies, Mario Lopez Mexican, Jersey Shore Pauly D Italian Subs. But the funny thing is, it's down toward the bottom where he gets a little salty. The menu includes 3 variations on smash-style burgers, 2 fried chicken sandwiches. I'm sure all of this is, and I do apologize for my pessimism, completely generic. Unsurprisingly, a Dallas Buca di Beppo that partnered with MrBeast Burgers sold $7,000 worth of the new brand in one day. Think about that type of money. Pretty interesting. As someone who has spent almost 20 years, and this is still Steve's article, as someone who has spent almost 20 years chronicling the efforts of people who invest their life savings to build and support a single restaurant, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or applaud the entrepreneurship of the 22-year-old who got famous for videos of him giving away large sums of sponsors' money, counting to 100,000, and trying to break glass with megaphones. Please don't order from MrBeast Burger. Local restaurants need your money far more. I just thought that was absolutely funny because I don't want to call Steve out of touch because he clearly he's self-aware of what he's saying in the article. But I do think that the overall sentiment of don't order from ghost kitchens is kind of overarching. I would say, though, use a little discrimination. There's nothing bad about MrBeast Burger per se, except that it wasn't a very good value. But when you have other ghost kitchens out there, like there was a Pasquale's Pizza, I'm sure you guys remember this, where a pizzeria just popped up on Yelp with a bunch of really good reviews. So people started ordering from it. And what they found out, it was like a whole sting operation. They found out that Pasquale's Pizza, it was Pasquale with a Y, who is a character from Chuck E. Cheese. Then it was basically Chuck E. Cheese doing delivery and takeout of their pizzas, which are passable as pizza. They meet the definition of pizza, but I think in terms of quality, I think most people wouldn't exactly be clamoring to get a pizza from Chuck E. Cheese if they knew it was actually from Chuck E. Cheese, ordering through the app. So Ghost Kitchen in that regard is kind of, I don't want to say deceptive, because the whole reason why it's called a ghost kitchen is you're acknowledging that it's part of another business. The reason why it's a ghost is because it could disappear at any moment. But I do think that was a funny thing. Why do I think ghost kitchens are important? In the current state of things, I don't think ghost kitchens have that much relevance, except in high traffic areas. So in a college town, if it were me, a Saturday night ordering food from a Guy Fieri Flavortown kitchen, that's a fun activity. Local restaurants aren't doing that type of thing. So to me, that just seems like one of those fun things that you could do. In terms of supporting local businesses and partnering with businesses, I don't think we need that anymore. Or at least I hope we don't need that anymore. The ghost kitchens serve their purpose, and it is what it is. But I don't think in 2023, given the health situation now, I don't think there's a benefit to expanding the ghost kitchens, which I think is why when I pull up this virtual dining concept website, most of them are going away. But it speaks to a larger question, the creator brands. We see a lot of creator brands kind of popping up. You know, your favorite influencers might be shilling some kind of coffee, or like Logan Paul with Prime. You know, on a television scale, you always have a celebrity kind of promoting something that they're working on. Emerald makes pots and pans. It's something that since the beginning of time, you know, maybe not since the beginning of time, since the beginning of commerce, it's been important for us to see our favorite stars and to partake in their merchandise and the things that they're sharing. I'll tell you that most of my pots and pans are Emerald pots and pans that I bought in 2006 because I'm trying to catch up to Emerald and subscribers here. He's one of my idols. I do it because he inspired me in the 90s. And, you know, it's just, to me, I trust Emerald. So Emerald's pans. Now, I probably don't trust his newer products. That is a whole different story. But, you know, the creator brands are important in the context of the channel here. The merchandise that you guys buy from my creator merchandise link, where I have clothing and things, the buy me a coffee, super chat, all of those things kind of help me to fund what I'm doing on the channel here. Microphones, software, these things cost money and I got to keep things going. So, you know, it's important that as a creator, I have that avenue as well. And that you have that to support your favorite creators, even if it isn't me. MrBeast is going to be okay. I mean, the guy gets millions of views on his videos. He has hundreds of millions of subscribers. He has a lot of revenue streams. You know, he's going to be fine. I don't think anybody, I think him walking away from MrBeast Burger is probably a natural thing. He should. The deal that he's in probably stinks, and it stinks that he doesn't get to have control over that and have control over the branding at this point. But that's one of those things you got to understand. If you're going to give away your brand name or your brand logo for something to use it, there's terms and conditions with that. And, you know, if you signed a bad deal, you signed a bad deal. Let's go to the live chat here. Gene again. I've been fasting for 12 days. I'm so ready to eat the whole world. Going to Elusive. Oh, great. To eat a chopped cheese and Popeye sandwich together in the 29. That's awesome. I mean, I've done reviews on each of those. So I'm with you in spirit there. And we got Roz. Do I still like Swiss Diamond? Yeah, their nonstick pans are absolutely amazing. I wish I could afford more Swiss Diamonds. But yeah, I love those very much. I've been buying cheaper nonstick pans, but they don't last as long. And with that, I will say thank you so much for joining this podcast today. You know, for supporting the channel, for being in the live chat. I really appreciate all of you and all the time that you dedicate to the channel here. If you're watching in the replay, I'm going to put up on the screen my 2 reviews of MrBeast Burger, so you can check those out and you could see my real-time reaction to that food. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.